Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Dr. Stacy Heimberger, and this is Weight Loss Made Simple. I want to talk about something today that a lot of people are thinking, but they're not saying. And I want to tell you it is okay. And you are allowed to want a summer body. That's it. But we can make that mean whatever we want it to mean. But you are allowed to say, I want to be leaner. I want to feel good in my clothes. I want to feel strong in my skin. I want to feel proud of how I showed up. So we can want to feel leaner or stronger or more confident or more disciplined or more energized. Okay? It doesn't just need to be, I want to be smaller. But if that's all you want, that is okay too. So there's a lot of hesitation and almost apology when people talk about kind of getting ready for summer. And it's around this concept of like, maybe it's not okay to say that I want a different body. I want my body to look different. Or there'll be these qualifiers, right? I know it sounds vain, but I'd really like to be a little bit leaner for summer. Or I know I'm not supposed to care, but I'd really like, to look a little bit more muscular. Or I know I'm supposed to accept my body just how it is, but I really just would like to feel confident and strong. So I want to say, we don't need to whisper that we want to feel good, okay? And feeling good and summer body can mean different things to different people, but you're allowed to want all of them, okay? Whatever variation that is, we don't have to whisper about wanting to feel good, okay? We get to say that out loud. You can have a goal for your body. You can. In some way, like, it's so funny because nobody thinks twice about saying that they have a weight loss goal. But in some ways, having a body goal is much healthier, right? Because we can say, like, I just want to like put on some muscle. Like, I want to change my percent body fat. I want to look better in shorts, whatever it is, without being tied to this number that then has a lot of judgment when we get on the scale. So we do not need to apologize for having a goal for our body. We do not need to apologize for wanting to feel good in our body. We are allowed to do that. But I do want to also point out there is a big difference between like self-hatred and self-direction. And I think that's where the judgment and shame comes in, is that especially I think our mom's generation, there was a lot of like being skinny is good and not being skinny is bad. And so it was this idea of changing your body from a place of self-hatred. And I don't really see that anymore. But we're kind of in this mix where like, because the younger generation I don't think they get that. But, and I could be wrong, I don't have girls. So maybe girls are getting that now. But I think it's a little bit different. And I think we're in this in between where we're like hedging, right? Like, is it okay? Is it not okay? But I think if it comes from this place of being directed to a goal and it comes from a loving place, that is very different than what I think the body shame and that movement is coming from, because we used to shame ourselves into wanting to have a different body. So I'm talking about doing this in like a very directed way of like, I just want to feel better, and we're allowed to feel better. And if that means we need to be or want to be smaller in our clothes, I think that's okay. Okay. So maybe I'll get canceled. I don't know. But I don't think so, because this is not about shaming our bodies. It's about wanting to feel good in them, whatever that means to you. So it could be leaner. It could be stronger. It could just be more confident. It could be just like, I want to be more consistent. I want my body to be more consistent in how it moves for me. I want to just not be in pain when I walk, right? That is a body goal, and that is okay. Okay. So your summer body might just be able to get in and out of the pool easier. So your summer body gets to be what you want it to be, and you get to have any type of goal that you want for it. But I think you should have one. Okay. So I don't think it should come from a place of shame. I think it should come from this place that feels really good, where we're having a goal about our body that is directed from a place of just feeling good. Okay, not feeling shame. Our body is going to respond to direction, right? Anytime we set a goal, and especially if we write it down, and especially if we tell someone else, it is like setting a GPS for our brain and our actions of where we go from there. So our body will respond to direction. Okay. So our muscle will respond to a stimulus, right? We lift something heavy, our muscle will respond to that. Our metabolism responds to being consistent, right? Consistency with our nutrition and our movement. Our metabolism responds to that. Our energy responds to fuel quality and sleep, right? And inflammation will respond to stress and food patterns, especially sugar, right? Nothing about that responds to shame. Okay, so that's important. Shame does not help our body, and our body does not respond to that. Our muscles respond to stimulus, our metabolism will respond to consistency, our energy will respond to fuel quality and sleep, and our inflammation will respond to stress and processed foods. None of the things I mentioned respond to shame. Okay, so that's the distinction. And so when you're making a goal about your summer body, I want you to be really clear about where that's coming from. Nothing about us improves because of criticism. Tough love does not work at all. The model does not support it, right? Thoughts, feelings, actions. It's not going to happen. Okay, if our thought is just all criticism and the feeling is shame, nothing improves because of that. It just doesn't. But our body is adaptive. And if we give it what it needs and we come from a place of like motivation and feeling good and wanting to feel good, our body will respond to that, right? If we give it strength training, we will build muscle. If we give it protein, it will preserve muscle. If we give it consistency of movement, our insulin sensitivity will be better and our inflammation will go down. If we sleep better, our cortisol will regulate, inflammation will go down, right? The body you have in July is not an accident, and we build it now, okay? It is a cumulative result of all these small choices that we've been talking about since January. Small repeated inputs. This consistency is what's going to build that body in July, not punishment, not over restriction, okay? A summer body is not a crash diet. It is not about getting dehydrated or overtraining, right? It is this consistency over time. It is goal directed. It is setting the GPS. It is making sure our thoughts are in alignment with our goal. So if our goal is feeling better in our body, then those thoughts need to be positive, feel good thoughts, not shame, negative thoughts. Okay? So most of us wake up July 1st, go to put a pair of shorts on, maybe they don't fit, and then it's shame spiral city. And then we're doing all of these really punishing things from a place of body shaming. And maybe that works for a second, but that is not sustainable. And then we go through this whole yo-yo thing and come around and have the same problem next July. It's not the desire for a summer body that is a problem. It is the strategy to get there, and it is the thoughts behind it. Okay? So if we want to change our body because we don't love ourselves, that doesn't work. If we want to change our body because we love ourselves and we want to just feel better or move more comfortably or feel more confident, right? That is okay. We are allowed to do that. Acceptance and ambition can coexist. Okay? So we can absolutely accept our body as it is right now and love it and love ourselves and still have an ambition to make it a little bit better, to feel a little bit better, to build a little bit more muscle, to lose a little bit of fat, to feel a little bit more confident. All of that can coexist. Okay? Some of this, like the body shaming, assumes it doesn't, but it can. We can appreciate our body and still want it to be stronger. We can respect ourselves and still want to be a little bit more consistent or disciplined. And we can love our life and still want to make it better. right? I love my life. I work every day to make it even better. Okay? So those things coexist. Acceptance and ambition coexist. We do not need to build our summer body from a place of shame. We can accept exactly where we are, love ourselves exactly how we are, and still want to change things before summer. Totally fine. Okay? I think our brain gets all trapped in that, and then we don't commit, right? Because maybe we're ashamed to say it, that we want to make these changes. And then we wait for a less stressful month or for a better schedule or for an after vacation or after school's over. And then, every time we pause, okay, remember, those are sneaky little thoughts because your brain hates change. And every time we pause, we interrupt this consistency that we're building. Waiting feels safe, but it doesn't get us where we need to go. Discomfort is the currency of change. This is very important. When we make decisions and we say things out loud, we feel very exposed because it's real, right? But that's good. It means we might need to follow through, and that's good, right? It means we might need support and might need to tell people, and that's good. We can find that, okay? I think somewhere, too, for my high achievers, is this fear of being too much, right? I'll be too focused, too disciplined, too into my body, too driven. But I think feeling strong in your skin is not vanity. And if it's coming from this place of feeling good, it's direction. It's if it's coming from a place of punishment, that's very different. So I really want you to think about it. When you think about, what do I want my body to be this summer? What do I want to feel like in my body this summer? I want you to really do some hard checking in there. Really look and see what's going on in your brain. So open that closet, no matter what's in there, all the skeletons, all the things, and look in there and just be honest with yourself. Am I making these goals because I don't think I'm good enough now? Or am I making these goals from a place of love, acceptance and ambition, where they coexist? Because it does make a huge difference. And the biggest difference it makes is if we're going to be successful or not. Okay. I also want to say a summer body can mean different things. Okay. So it might just be I want to be less reactive with food. It could be mental, right? Our summer body could also be our summer brain. I want to be more confident. I want to feel a little bit more regulated. I don't want to be affected by food as much. Maybe I want to learn some new strategies so I don't eat emotionally as much. Right? But it could also be physical. I want to be more toned. I want to be more muscular. I want to be leaner. All of it counts. Okay. We get to make up the rules for ourselves. Never forget that. So we get to decide what a summer body means. Is that a mental game? Is that a physical game? We just need to make sure it's coming from a really good place, not from shame, not from punishment, not because we're not good enough already, but from this place of I think I'm amazing already, but I can still be better. Right? Very different energy. Think about those two sentences and say them to yourself. It's a very different energy. Getting a summer body from punishment and getting a summer body from acceptance and ambition. Very, very different energy. And one is going to be much more successful than the other one. And you know which one already, right? So I want you, first things is to define your version of a summer body. Not Instagram, not your friend, yours. Okay? And what does that mean to you? What does a summer body mean to you? I do want you to write this down. I don't ask you to write things a lot, but I do think this is important. Is it stronger? Is it leaner? Is it more disciplined? Is it more consistent? Is it more energetic? Is it just more live, more flexible, right? What does it mean? Make it identity-based, not scale-based. Okay. Never once in this episode have I said, pick your summer body weight. That is not what we're talking about here. Okay. Then I want you to do a deep, deep dive and make sure that your motivation for this change is coming from a place of acceptance and ambition. right? I love myself, but I can still be better. Very different than I'm not good enough. Okay. Then I want you to choose some non-negotiable inputs. Okay. So if it is to get stronger, right, then our anchor of like do the bare minimum is not going to work. Okay. But we also don't need to do this over exaggerated, over committed, crazy workout. But maybe it's strength training 3 times a week. And maybe we commit to that. And maybe it's eating protein at every meal. And maybe we walk or stretch every day. Okay. So we do have to have some non-negotiable inputs of how we're going to get there. And then we probably need to tell somebody about those too. Okay. Then the next part is to stop starting over, right? If we made our perfect plan, our non-negotiables, assuming a life in captivity where everything is regulated and fine, and then the wild gets us and we have a day and we miss it, we're not going to restart. We're just going to resume. We're just going to reset and keep going. Okay? Not a dramatic reset. Okay? But no restarting. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Okay? I want you to decide all this before you're quite ready. Okay? Because sometimes I think your brain will figure out how to do it if you just tell it the end point. And what I find very interesting too is when we tell our body we have a goal, if our brain is just like fighting, right? Maybe we have to modify to a place where our brain stops fighting and that becomes our start. Okay. So if we want to put on or whatever, change our body composition by some amount. Okay. Or we want to just be stronger. And we're like, okay, I'm going to work out 4 days a week. And your brain is just like, you can feel it when it happens. Like you get this anxiety and your brain's like, absolutely not. And we go, okay, how about 3 times a week? And it says no. Okay, how about 2 times a week? And it's like, okay, maybe 2 times. Okay, well, I'm going to start with 2 times then. And I'm going to do that for a couple of weeks. And then we're going to have the same conversation with ourselves again. Okay, I really was thinking 4 times a week. How are you still feeling about that? Now that we've been consistently doing 2 times a week, maybe 4 times a week seems easier. Okay, so I'm not saying we modify the goal. I'm saying we modify the steps to get there. And I'm not saying we give up on like the aspirational steps to get there, but just understand that our starting point might need to be different. We might need to build up to that. Because if we say I'm going 4 days a week and our brain is freaking out, it is going to just find all kinds of reasons why we can't do that. And then it's this whole shame spiral again because we didn't do what we said we were going to do. All right. I talk about all this in the membership. If you need that support, look, there's 2 open calls a month right now. We can hopefully add more in the future, but you get 2 times to come on and like tell me what's going on for you personally and how I can help and how we can modify. And it's not theoretical. Okay. It's a tactical call, right? These office hours and Q&A, like tell me what's really going on for you and you'll have all the support you need. All right, so check that out, www.sugarfreemd.com/LSM, Lifestyle Support Monthly. Get in there, your first 30 days are free, and we will work through anything that is stopping you. But it's okay to want a summer body, just as long as that comes from a place of acceptance and ambition, and then write it down, come up with some real action steps, okay? We have to be, this is not quite as gentle as January where we were setting that beautiful baseline. We're going to push a little bit. But the season is with us. We're feeling a little more motivated. The sunshine is out. We have a little bit more energy. We're going to capitalize on that. And we're going to move forward and have whatever summer body we want. All right. Talk to y'all next week. Bye.